Welcome. In this video, we're going to be looking at drop-down boxes and lookup tables. And the scenario is this. You've got a spreadsheet with a whole load of raw data coming in. And what you want to do is pick some of that data and show it separately and then do some analysis on it. Firstly, if we look at the drop-down boxes, these are the keystrokes that you're going to have to do. And then later on, we'll look at the lookup tables. Right, here's your scenario, as we said. You've got data coming in, 4 different markets with different bits of information, high, low, close and price. You'll find that some of these might move because there's a live price feed coming into the spreadsheet, so the numbers will change. And what we want to do is pick out some of that data and display it over here so that we can analyze that data. Now, I've set the spreadsheet up so that it looks at or gives me the change in the price, the range, high, low, close, etc. in absolute terms, and over here in percentage terms. That's just for the purposes of the demonstration. You can obviously set up the spreadsheet to analyze the data in the way that you actually want. Now, we're going to create the drop-down box over here in cell I1. And I'm using a slightly older version of Excel, but you can find this in newer versions, obviously. So what we want to do to set up the drop-down box is go to the Data tab. In the Data tab, we find the Data Validation button. Press that. From that, press the Data Validation again, and that'll open up a dialog box. From that, from the drop-down menu, pick List. And then last thing you need to do is put in the source of that list. And we want the 4 markets over here. FTSE DAX, GBP USD and Euro US dollar. Press OK. And you can see there's a little drop down box button over there. So if we have a look, if you just press that chevron, you've got the 4 different markets that we've put in our list. Now we want to use the lookup tables, and over here we're going to be using vlookup. So press equals VL, and Excel helpfully points us to the function that we want to work with. First it wants a lookup value, saying, well, what do you want to look up? So we plug that in, and let's just dollarize it because we're going to be copying that formula across. Then it says, where do you want me to look up that information? So the data set that we want is going to be from cell A2 to cell E5, from that table array. And again, I'm going to dollarize that because we're going to be copying that across. Next thing it wants to know is, what's your column index number? What exactly from that data do you want to know? And we want to know the high, which is column 2. Right, so A2 is column 1, column A is 1, column B is 2. It needs one more input, which is saying, do you want an approximate match or an exact match? Well, we want to be working with exact numbers. So you put the exact match in there, press enter. Now it's got not applicable, not a problem, because we haven't given it something to look for. So if we go here and press FTSE, there we go, it'll show you the high for the FTSE. Now what we want to do is copy that formula or that table, replicate that in the other cells. But we want to change the cell reference. So to get the low, we need column index number 3. So 1, 2, 3. For the close, it's going to be 4, and finally, for the current price, it's going to be 5. Okay, so we got vlookup. What do you want me to look up? It's asking the FTSE. From what data set? From this data set. Which column do you want to be looking up? Well, I want to be looking up column 2 because I want the high. And similarly across here. And these now, because I've set up the spreadsheet, give me the data in a form that is useful to me. Let's go back here and change it to Euro US dollar. go. Everything changes. So this time it's looking up euro US dollar from this data set, and over here, column 2, column 3, column 4, column 5. GBP USD. That's it. It's fairly straightforward, very flexible, pretty powerful. Now let's look at one more thing, which is the hlookup table, which admittedly, personally, I don't tend to use that often. But if we go hlookup, HL, very helpful. Lookup value A1, table array, that, and let's say we want row 2. So it's the next row down, and again, exact match. So it'll say FTSE. If we said row 3, it would say DAX. Certainly drop-down boxes and lookup tables in particular are things you're going to be using pretty often when you want to manipulate or rearrange any data and then perform some analysis on it. In the next video, we're going to be looking at how we can construct frequency tables. So we'll see you then. This is Abdullah signing off. Thanks for listening.